Okay, so I'm going to show you a few things. This is another way that I sort of weed in the garden. But as you've probably noticed, I put way too many plants in here, and they're mostly all edible. And if they're not, I use them for compost. So this is part of why I have such a love for putting seeds in the garden and saving seeds. So the seeds have all the nutritional qualities of the plant, and this jar is pretty much full. But we've planted hundreds of kale, so they're kale seeds, and we've given away hundreds of kale seeds, and voila, it's still full. And I'm pretty sure we only saved from 3 or 4 plant specimens that were the most beautiful ones in the garden last year. And so it's pretty neat to be able to see how many seeds you can get just from a few plants. And you can just let the plants dry out completely, pick them, put them in your basement or somewhere to hang dry that they're not in the sun, and then when you have nothing to do in January, that's when you can sort them. So here, these are these peas. I'm only going to leave a few around the trellis poles, and I'm going to actually pick out the other ones because they're delicious when they're young like this. You could eat them in a salad. I could buy pea shoots from the store, or I can just sort of grow my pea shoots in the garden. And so I'm going to go through and I'll thin out things like this lettuce, where ideally I wouldn't have so many lettuce growing all together. If I don't get around to thinning them out in time, basically the plants will get thin themselves because they will compete for resources if they don't have enough sunlight or if they don't have enough root space. So there's a bit of competition and a bit of helping involved with plants all the time. And then the columbine flowers are starting to open. They'll be so beautiful. And the milkweed is starting to come up as well. So there's milkweed all over the place. And initially, my mom and I were hoping that we hadn't somehow killed all of the milkweed because we didn't see any, but we were just a little too early. And then this is kale seeding. So these flowers will get pollinated, and then the flower stem will turn into like kind of what looks like a little bean full of seeds. And kale is one of those plants where I still harvest kale from the plant even as it's flowering. A lot of plants will taste terrible once they flower, but kale I find actually tastes better. So this kale root was here over winter. Now it's starting to produce flowers for the pollinators and seeds for next year.